Hello friends, I have a great video for you today and a confession. I am a chronic migraine sufferer, which means I've spent the majority of my childhood and teenage years and young adult years until I figured stuff out, spending a lot of time under my covers, totally dead to the world because I couldn't stand any sound or sight or stand the sight of any sort of light. And I'm a very headache prone person. And so you might wonder then, if I'm such a headache prone person, how do I wrap? Well, stick with me while I take you through some tips, some tricks, and things I've learned that help me as someone who suffers from headaches spend 8 to 9 hours with a essentially fabric and a wrap on my head, and how you can overcome your headaches and wrap all you want and feel as beautiful as you want to feel in your headscarf. So let's get right to it. The number one most important tip to not get migraines when you're wrapping has surprisingly nothing to do with the weight of your scarves and everything to do with how you tie them. You'll notice in my shaper video where I talked about putting a shaper on with a part in your hair, I came from the back with my shaper. The reason I do that is because no matter what I'm putting on my head, whether it be a shaper, a headband, a scarf, I do my best to come from the back and pull forward because it's all about momentum. So what you need to be able to do is make sure that the momentum of your wrap is coming forward and not pulling back, because if you put your shaper on and you immediately feel like it's pulling back, if you put a scarf on and the weight feels really low on the back of your neck, like it's heavy, that means your momentum is going back. And if that happens, you will get a headache, 100% guarantee it. One of the best things you can do is you spend the time you need to put your shaper on so that when your shaper's on, it's comfortable. Because if you put your shaper on and 2 seconds later it doesn't feel comfortable, putting scarves on isn't going to help that, and you're going to stay incredibly, uncomfortable all day. And often when I do that, I just rewrap as soon as I get to work because I know that I put my shaper on wrong and it's gonna bug me all day. So number one, momentum. Pull that baby forward. Pull it forward. Number two, get rid of bulk at the back of your neck. So for me, that means crisscross, crisscross, crisscross. Whenever you can, crisscross your scarves. This one here, I crisscrossed the first brown scarf and crisscrossed the second because obviously there's a knot in this holding everything together in the side here. I don't need double knots. Often when you're beginning and you're following tutorials for the first time, you'll do the tie in the back because that's sort of the normal way to do it. Because when you're learning, doing crisscross does present some more challenges because you often have to stick stuff in your armpit to keep it tight. I'll sometimes, bring the scarf and tie it around my neck while I put on multiple scarves. But whenever I can, I crisscross. I never, ever, ever, ever knot my scarves. Now, if I'm doing a wrap with a pashmina, for example, that allows a tail down, but a crisscross won't keep it strong enough, then what I will do is I will do a knot, but I will never do a wrap that has more than one knot on the back of my head because I will get a headache. And when I do the knot, I do it off to the side. So what I mean by that is I don't pull the knot straight at the back of my neck. I pull the knot, a little bit towards the side, because for me, as soon as I get that pressure right here at the back of my neck, as soon as I get pushing right there, I will get a headache. So momentum, crisscross. Number three is bulk, or weight, I should say, because the last one was bulk, so in the back of it. So weight. If you are wearing multiple scarves, whether it be 2 or 3, do not stack them all on top of each other, especially at the back of your neck, and do your best to distribute the weight evenly. So what I mean is when you're putting on a scarf, bring your scarf, and again, momentum, bring your scarf forward after it's folded to fit your head, gather towards the front, crisscross, and then you've got your forward momentum. When you put on your second scarf, do the same thing, but do them not on top of one another, sort of layer them. So let's say, for example, I had this scarf crisscrossed here. I would take the second scarf, crisscross it here, so that they're on top of one another like this and not like this. So when you've got more than one scarf, layer them like a ladder. Don't put them all on top of one another. And that's how you can wear, like I wear, 5 or 6 scarves, when you're doing those crazy wraps, without bulk and without weight in the back of your neck. So whenever possible, ladder your layers. Ladder your layers, that's a good one. All right, next, weight distribution. Weight distribution. So when you have more than one scarf on, or even if you just have one scarf, find the sweet spot on your head. For me, I can't have anything too far back. If I do a twisted crown and I have it sitting here, for example, I will get a headache. But if I have it sitting here, I don't. So what you have to do when you're practicing and you're learning is figure out, where you need to put things in order for them to feel nice. For me, for example, this layered waterfall twist, this knot works best for me just a little bit above my ear. If I put the knot lower, let's say down here, like that, then I feel like sort of a pull and I'm gonna end up with a headache. So what you need to do is you need to sort of go through, I'll leave that now so I don't take my wrap out. What you need to do is go through and figure out where your pressure points are. If you're wearing a wrap that you've never worn before, sort of what I like to do is I'll push. And if I feel a scalp sensitivity or a tingling where I'm pushing and it's particularly noticeable, what probably means is happening there is there's too much weight or your weight isn't distributed evenly and you can feel it on your scalp and it's going to cause you a headache. Now, I don't even know what number we're on. The number will be on the bottom of the screen when I do this up for editing. So the next thing we're going to talk a little bit about is the actual, knots themselves. So if you are doing a knot, whether it be in the back or you have to do a turban, that sort of thing, loose. Keep it loose. You have to trust the velvet of your shaper. That's why you're wearing a velvet headband. That's why you're wearing a shaper. It's so things don't go anywhere. If you tie too tight, whether your Velcro of your shaper band, the Velcro of your velvet headband, or you tie your knot too tight, you are going to get a headache. You have to trust the shaper. So that means when you're starting, tie them a little looser. If you get some slippage, tie them a little tighter. What it's better to do is start loose and adjust from there than start incredibly tight, have a headache, and get discouraged about this entire process. So we've talked about momentum, weight distribution, bulk, and layering your knots. Those are sort of the main things that have been helpful for me. And I think too, what you really have to remember is which kind of shaper you're wearing. I have a few shapers, for example, that no matter what I do, if I've got them on all day, I'm gonna get a headache. And it's just that particular shaper doesn't really work for me. So if you have the means and you bought a shaper and it's not working, or you're getting tons of headaches and you've tried these sort of tricks that I've given you and it's still not working, you're still getting a headache, I would recommend, if you can, trying a different shaper. No matter what I do, like for example, the Ultimate Shaper from Rapunzel, I love that shaper. I use it when I'm doing braids or when I'm stacking things because it gives me a lot of surface area on the top, but I can't wear it all day. It's one of those shapers I can only wear, for a little bit, and then I have to change it. So, and I know that about that shaper and it's great, but my Wendy, my other shapers are the shapers I know I can wear all day for 9+ hours. Also, when I talked a little bit about shaper in my shaper videos, you'll notice that I said really massage really massage your scalp before you put your shaper on. And that has to do with momentum too, because you want to really stimulate your scalp. I also give myself a scalp massage when I wash my hair, because when we have scarves on, everything's really flat, there's no wind, there's nothing moving our hair, our scalps have a lot of pressure on them and they don't get a lot of sort of massaging or sensation. So what you really need to do, I guess, is its own tip number what have you, massage your scalp when you can, and just really make sure there's a lot of sensation, and also, you know what, guys, be aware of your limits, right? Like, I have a headache if I leave my wrap on for 10, 13 hours. I can't do it, Like, when I come home from work, I take my wrap off. I don't wrap for religious reasons, so that's fine for me. So most of the time I have my wrap on for 9-ish hours, around there. And that's sort of my comfort point. That's kind of where I stick with it. So, I've discovered what my limits are. I know to respect them, and I can sort of, do these tips and tricks to get around them. So those are my kind of nice and quick, really helpful tips that have worked really well for me in the past, basically troubleshooting, I guess, troubleshooting headaches and wrapping. But all I can say is don't get discouraged. Find what works for you. I honestly think there's a wrap style, a shaper, and a combination that works for everyone, no matter your sensitivity levels. And if I, who used to have headaches every week, can do this headache-free, pain-free, you can too. Just stick with it, guys. Stick with it. Keep trying. You're going to figure it out. And definitely, if you want to know more, or if there's anything in particular you want me to talk about, or maybe do a video demonstrating, like maybe just do a video just on Criss Cross, I can totally do that. Just like this video, leave me a comment below, reach out to me on Instagram, anything like that. And I'm super happy to, you know, go in depth a little bit about this, because I would hate for headaches to be the thing that stop you from experimenting and enjoying wrapping. And if you liked this video and you want to see more, please subscribe to my channel. I'm planning an entire series on wrap to basics and talking about the foundations of wrapping and how we can all, you know, be a little bit better at our craft. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Bye. Mwah.